most amazing thing was that everyone kept asking a normal question to a newly engaged couple. How did you meet? How did you meet?
Oh my gosh.
And we had to tell everyone over. It was like a perfect way to come out over and over because we met at an LGBTQ Jewish gala. We met at JQ. And they were like, I didn't know that those existed. I didn't know you could have a Jewish LGBTQ organization. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of them.
But also, can
Really
you
nice.
imagine going to an LGBTQ event, queer event, most likely to meet someone of your gender?
I know.
And then going there and meeting someone of the opposite
it's
gender.
Really wild.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we don't know because they're on some gender journeys. Both of
True,
us,
true.
so.
But I meant
Whatever,
like.
we're straight. We're gay. It doesn't
Wait,
matter.
but also I
I
meant
like that joke you have
the
about your
typical
brother saying, I don't know what you
biological,
are,
you
but you're
know.
definitely not straight. I love that joke.
That's exactly how I am. I don't want from people, because that was something that they always told me, like, oh, the only reason you would ever leave is because you're fucked up, or you come from like a, no, they wouldn't say that.
Same.
You come from like a family that's
Yeah.
messed up. And it's like,
A stigma.
it like, yeah, I happen to come from a family that's messed up, but that's not why I left. You know, like, and so I just don't.
No, but it may be why other things. Maybe not why you
Yes.
left, but why other things. And also not maybe why you left, but maybe why you questioned
Right.
things. Because when things are chaotic, you question everything.
Yeah.
And
That's
you're in an
true.
open, you're choosing open relationships, right?
Do you think it's also because I'm fucked up?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I would say that there are people that I've met that have used the open relationship as a phase or a coping mechanism or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've done it as well. I think I did it to protect myself,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows exactly? That's the beauty of being open. Who knows?
I know. And I know people like that too. And also I feel like it could be. There's no question it could be. But I feel like I've been in open relationships for long enough that it's like, it's not. I hope I might not be a phase. It might be a phase.
Who
the
knows?
fuck
I
knows?
think you're good at it.
Yeah.
And I say the same about Melissa. Like, I haven't met many people
Right.
that practice open relationships well.
Yes.
You do, and so does Melissa.
Melissa and I have spoken
Yes.
about it. I think we have like a similar mindset about open relationships and how it's like it doesn't work if you're in a bad place with your current partner.
Exactly.
Then it's not,
I've been
then
in
you're not
open relationships
relationship.
that started as open relationships.
Yes.
And those were very successful. I mean, they ended,
Yeah.
but they were successful relationships in terms of being open. I was cool with it. And
Yeah.
they were also, it was the understanding from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then I met someone that I didn't want to be in an open relationship with.
Great.
That's what happened for
For
me.
Hashem.
Exactly.
Oh wait, this is Orthodykes.
Hey.
Welcome to Yenta, everybody. This is Orthodykes without Melissa or Antonia because they're not here. And we
Is
hate
that
them.
the camera, by the way?
That's
where
your camera. This one's my camera.
Got it. Okay.
And Melissa's running late because she's in traffic. But
Did you put that in? Wow,
put that
guys,
in
there's
air
some tea.
quotes.
Melissa's in traffic.
and Antonia's in LA, but we're gonna Melissa will hopefully come at some point while we're recording.
I'm okay
this.
with Melissa not being here for this part because, frankly,
Yes.
Melissa doesn't really give two rats patooties about
and,
this.
and that's good for her.
But I want to get into this JoJo Siwa
Leah walked
tea.
in. She's like, I have to talk about JoJo.
The first thing I
Siwa."
want to start by saying is that I apologize in advance for even talking about it because I'm 43 years old and I have no business talking about it. That being said, those who know me know that I'm obsessed with lesbian culture and anything to do with the queer tea. I love all tea, but especially queer tea. And JoJo's been involved in some tea. So in this case, for those of you that are not aware of what's going on, I'm going to give it to you in 60 seconds or less. JoJo Siwa, a pretty up-and-coming pop star, also was on Dance Moms and came
Huge.
out as a lesbian,
Yeah.
and
Dated
has a
Avery
partner,
Cyrus.
dated multiple people and had tea with multiple people.
Big TikTok lesbian.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who JoJo Siwa is, just look it up. And JoJo Siwa now has a partner, a non-binary partner named Kath.
Okay.
And Kath gave JoJo the blessing to go to Big Brother UK and film this 2-week social experiment. And if you know what Big Brother is, it's a reality TV, and that's what JoJo went on. JoJo went on reality TV and connected with this person named Chris, who was from some
Oh.
Temptation Island or whatever it was.
Kath
and
is hot.
Kath is so sexy.
Okay.
And the world is watching as JoJo and Chris are becoming closer and closer. And I'm going to let you guys watch the clips for yourself to make your own judgment. Or if you want to like pan out into the podcast and like put up the clips for people to see. So
Wait,
there's
Chris,
like
a man?
Yes. And Chris is definitely being very physical with JoJo. Physical, cuddling in bed. They're both like, Chris is shirtless and like she'll be in a bra. I also don't want to say she because I think that JoJo came out as non-binary or trans, or at least is supporting it. But when Kath was referring to JoJo, Kath said they. So I just want to stick to the right pronoun. Okay. Long story short, JoJo and Siwa, cut this because it's like long. But JoJo and Chris have people speculating for the last couple of weeks that they've definitely fell in love and that they have a relationship. And JoJo has said some things on camera like, I may not belong in a relationship right now, when she's super committed to Kath. And she said multiple things, and people on the internet are savage.
Freaking.
They're like, oh my God, she's cheating. Anyway, get the deadline. The show films. Kath takes a flight out to meet JoJo. Kath watches this along with everybody else. And Kath got on a plane and flew 24 hours, went to the UK, got there, and after the after party that night, while Chris was in the other room, JoJo broke up with Kath.
Oh no.
So this is the tea. Now that you have the facts, and I said it as simple facts, I'm going to address all of it. I'm dividing this into 3 parts. There's part number 1, which is JoJo Siwa. There's part number 2, which is Kath. And part number 3, which is physical affection in relationships. So I'm going to start with number 1, JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa is 21 years old.
Yeah.
JoJo Siwa just came out as a lesbian, a few years ago?
Yesterday.
And literally has been in multiple relationships in the public eye. Most of us at 20, not me, because I came from the Hasidic community, but most of us in our 20s are doing that. We're dating people publicly. Yeah. So she's been in relationships where she dated people publicly. People are saying, oh, JoJo wasn't kind in those relationships. You know, she was an asshole or whatever they're saying about her. Either way, 21, living her best life. She went to the UK, and in the UK, she also discovered, by the way, that she may in fact also potentially be non-binary, connects most with non-binary people, and also may have regretted jumping into another relationship. That's normal.
Totally
to get somewhere and be like, shit, how did I land up in this relationship? I give JoJo Siwa, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, so much credit, because it is very hard to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Very hard to be the bad guy.
She's been the bad guy for years. Everybody's been hating on her.
I was a bad girl.
Yeah.
And I did bad things. And you know what? She said to herself, I don't know what's going through her mind, but I'm pretty sure that it's not easy to be the bad guy. She knows the internet's going to have an attack with this. Look what she did. She had the nerve to break up with her. I say, whatever your reasoning for breaking up with her, thank God you didn't string them along. Thank God you didn't schlep it out. You didn't lie. You did the right thing and you said, I don't want, for whatever the reason is, you didn't want it. Let's say you went to kiss Chris 5 seconds later. Whatever. But also, you did the right thing.
And also, she knows what she's doing. She's not... She knows that she gets when she gets attention, even if it's bad, it helps her. It helps her ticket sales. It helps her engagement. It helps her grow. It helps her publicity. It helps her in every single way. She knows that. Even after that bad karma, everyone was like shitting on her for the bad karma video. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, hey, like, you're shitting on me, but you're the ones paying attention to me. I'm living in all of your brains.
Literally,
right,
by the way, rent free.
Yes.
Not even rent free because we have to pay for tickets.
Exactly.
So I'm not paying for tickets, but I will pay in my TikTok views.
Yes.
And when I allow myself to consume social media, I often land up in this area. So JoJo Siwa, those are my thoughts on it. 21 years old. It's really funny to see the internet rip someone apart.
It's insane.
I say go you. Next, not go you for being, mean or malicious or doing things that are whatever, but go you for at least breaking up with Kath.
I think everyone's going to look back on how we treated JoJo Siwa and be like, this is another
like Britney Spears.
Britney.
Literally.
It's another Miley. It's all of these like young girls who get so shit on for no reason.
Well, there's reason. I mean, but also like the amount of scrutiny is insane. The fact that you and I are even talking about it.
You brought it up, Leah.
Now I want to talk about Kath.
Okay.
I want to talk about Kath.
Wait, I have to get a tissue, but you could keep talking. If
So
you
next up with Kath, but this is really important. Okay, so Kath, number one, Kath is 28 years old.
Oh.
Okay.
That's a big age.
In queer relationships, it's not the end of the world. But I will also say Kath is significantly older. And so Kath has had probably more relationships and more experiences. Number two, I want to put in perspective, Kath and JoJo have been dating for 3 months. 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, granted, JoJo did say, I want to marry you. Yes. And JoJo did say all of that. And JoJo did leave letters every day for Kath or videos for Kath when JoJo was in the house.
How do you know that?
Kath made a video.
Okay.
So I know all of this.
How many videos are there?
Oh my God.
Okay.
When you go down the rabbit hole, forget it. So
Never ends.
long story short, I wish Kath more self-love and self-worth. Because if I saw that play out on TV, and this is me personally, I wouldn't get on a plane to go meet someone who did that to me.
Right.
I would make somebody finish what they're doing and find
Interesting.
me. And I want you to pursue me. And I
So
want
maybe
you to
Kath is equal part like perpetrator in this.
I mean,
you know?
listen,
Like, she
JoJo's
knows-
surrounded by older people.
Yeah.
Chris is 31 years old and others.
Yeah.
And all her handlers and all her production assistants and all her people and her mom. These are all people that are older than JoJo. And these are all people that want a piece of JoJo for whatever the reason is.
Yes,
And-
for money.
Money,
And
personality,
attention,
she's
fame.
cool, you know?
Yeah.
So Kath is 28 years old and also Kath deleted the video right away. Like put it up and delete. I mean, everyone screen recorded it
Yeah.
already, which is how I saw it. I didn't see the original.
Right.
But overall, Kath feels betrayed and played and all those things. And rightfully so. I'm saying Kath, watch things play out. And also, Kath, next time around, you watch something like that or even hear about something like that and it makes you feel an ick, you know, you protect yourself.
Yeah.
And don't get on no plane to meet anybody for what?
So chaotic.
Kath said, I held up my part of the bargain as a partner. But JoJo didn't hold up their part of the bargain as a partner, and you saw that play out. So for all the people out there, all the partners out there that want to walk away from relationships thinking, I was the better one, forget it. Forget it.
about
Don't
it.
be the better one. Be the petty one. Be the one that protects yourself. Why do you have to be the better one? And I grew up Hasidish where they were like, Za de gressere Mensch. Be the bigger person. You know, I'm not saying be vicious and be mean, but you don't need to be the bigger person. If you're watching your partner on camera doing things that are making you feel ick, or if you're watching your partner like other people's photos or whatever it is, and you've asked them or if you've made it clear that it's a boundary or whatever it is, and they're like, you know, doing their thing, which is great, let them do their thing and you do your thing.
Yeah, just end it.
Do your thing. You know what
But
I mean?
I'm saying the fact that she flew to London to talk to her and then posted about it and then like, you know, it's not about the real relationship. It's about the show. It's a performance.
Well, Kath did request not to be put on camera when Kath went out to meet JoJo after the show, for the after show.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, they didn't want to be on camera. That's something. But then went on camera immediately afterwards to express that they were upset. By the way, rightfully so. I've gone on camera millions of times and expressed something I was
fair.
pissed off about.
Yeah.
That being said, like I said, they dated 3 months.
Right. But also I think, and Antonia's amazing at this, because like there's been so many times where like something terrible has happened in the world and I'm like, we have to pod about this right now. And she's like, sometimes like the best takes like happen kind of after, like you're not like in the middle of like an activated state when you're like talking about it, and then you, it's just like when you're with your partner and if you're like it's so triggered, then it's really hard to have like a calm, rational discussion about it. In the same way, like sometimes it's good to take like a 24-hour week beat before you get on a podcast and be like, but then I never end up doing it.
But then you miss viral opportunities,
That's
right?
true. Okay, let's move on to the next topic.
Red
We're done with
flags.
red flags. Very easy transition there. red flags. If an older guy says she has an old soul, red flag.
I think it's a red flag.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a red flag. And again, as somebody who's been there, I look back at my relationship of 6 years that I was in with somebody 12 years younger than me. I was the red flag. I had no business being with someone who just turned 21.
Yeah.
But again, I myself was emotionally immature. You know?
Okay, next red flag.
Okay.
What do you have?
Next red flag.
What's your idea?
Okay. Next red flag. A girl who doesn't have hobbies.
Oh.
And I'm bringing this up for a very specific reason. I have a friend who's going through a breakup, and I asked her, what are your hobbies? And she struggled to answer me.
Huh.
What are your hobbies? And she actually got like upset at me and a little bit defensive. And I was realizing, like, when I was dating this time around, before I met my partner and I was single for quite some time, I remember thinking how important it was when a girl didn't tell me there were things she enjoyed doing on her own.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge red flag to me, because then all my
something.
hobbies are going to become your hobbies now.
Oh,
And I don't want that.
Like, she has no
I need
life.
you to have your own life.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to go out of the house once a week and go play basketball, take an art
Woodworking.
class.
Yes.
I don't care what you
Stand-up
do.
comedy.
You know what I mean? Something that's all yours that you
Improv.
love. That's sexy.
Yes.
That's sexy.
I like that. Podcasting.
Yes.
We need more podcasts.
Yeah, we
in
don't
the
have enough
world.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
We know you liked our podcast.
Oh, yeah. Can you come on, please?
Exactly. And you can talk about Reform Judaism because,
And we
by the way,
literally
Antonia's not here, but I just want to talk about that viral clip for a second.
Yeah.
How funny is it that I said Reform Judaism is like decaf, and then Antonia said what Antonia said, and suddenly it was like, wow.
Yeah.
And it started out as like a little bit of a,
a dig.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I think that's why it went so viral. 'Cause
Yeah.
people really love that. And it was so...
And it
was so
opened my eyes
positive.
too.
Yeah.
It opened my eyes too, because I did have that opinion. And now that I
Yeah.
feel that way about decaf lovers, I'm like, I'm a Judaism lover.
Yeah. And you're like all coffee, no matter what kind of flavor it is, even mocha, the caramel.
I love me some mocha. I love me some caramel.
Yeah, just extend the metaphor to the flavors.
Exactly. Flavors.
Yes.
What other red flags you got?
Red flag when like girls, or I'll just say when people like very quickly, it's hard when they're really quick to like when they're quick to like shit talk other people. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if I don't know you, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of shit talking, but
It's
like
called the
it's
Yenta
the
Pod.
Yenta Pod. But like if I just meet you and you like we leave a room and you all of a sudden just be like, oh, that person, or you comment on someone's appearance, like a woman's appearance, I'm like, you have like you're insecure about something and you're taking it out on them, you know? Like I just had someone, like I won't say who, but so we left her and someone went, she's so skinny, like she's like too skinny, and I was like,
Someone she doesn't know at all?
yeah, like she just met.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, so you're just jealous that she's like we don't have to comment on everyone's appearance all the fucking time.
But obviously that person had their own story. Because when I walk into a room, I don't notice that. I'll notice other things, but I'll be like, oh, that's something I need to work on. Like, oh, that person's so confident.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to be more confident, right?
Yes.
So if she's looking at someone who's super skinny, that's a body thing. That's her own stuff.
Exactly. Jealousy
Major red flag.
is a map.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another red flag.
Go.
Another red flag in relationships is somebody who doesn't match you financially.
Yeah.
And by that I mean up here, financial mentality. If you're a person that
Ambitious.
likes to spend, and you're a person that likes to be generous, and you're with someone who really doesn't, who scrimps and who's like stingy, and I'll use those words, red flag for you. Because that's not going to work out ultimately in a long-term relationship. So something just else that I noticed about someone's spending habits, and you could see a lot when you're dating somebody about the way they talk. They'll be like, oh, that costs so much money.
Yeah.
Or I paid a pretty penny for that. I don't, to me, that's a red flag. I don't like that energy. I'm very abundant. So
me too. But I used to be like that. I used to really, I can't believe you want me to go to a restaurant where a cheese board is $16. Absolutely not. But that's,
you know what? Let's talk about that because this is a big topic right now. You know, the capitalism topic and all that stuff. And I saw your clip on that.
Oh, yeah.
So really, really interesting to talk about because I got into it with somebody recently who was like, oh, you're a capitalist to me. Yeah. And once we talked further, I said, am I someone who works hard for the things that I want?
Yeah.
Yes. Does that make me a capitalist?
No. Well, I mean, I think a capitalist is someone who like enjoys and wants the capitalist system to continue versus like acknowledging that we live in a capitalist system and just trying to survive and just be as ambitious as possible to have a comfortable life. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's some people that are like, yay, banks, yay, no regulation. Let the CEOs do whatever they want. That's like capitalism, you know? A lot of people would disagree with me, but I identify as an anti-capitalist because I think that system is fucked up. But at the same time, like, I want to make money and I want to live and I don't want to struggle. I don't want to be like a poor queer non-binary person making lattes. No offense, I love all of you.
No, I know what you mean.
Yes.
So, and by the way, this is not just to the queer trans, community. Yeah. I'm going to say to all the, we've,
it's like that's our leftists.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially if you're a Brooklyn person or a New York person or LA or anywhere where life is super expensive.
Right.
It costs a ton. In fact, my friend Layla just posted that $100K in most other states in New York is the equivalent of $30K. Of that salary.
No way.
If you break it down.
Wow.
I mean, I live in New Jersey, but when I'm in New York, I'm paying double for the same latte.
Yeah.
I'm paying $4 more for a thing of eggs or cheese.
You walk outside here, you spend $100 like just by leaving your apartment.
Uber. Uber is much more here. So that brings me to the topic of crypto. If you guys hate me enough, you'll hate me even more.
I love all this
I know. You'll hate me even more when I say this. But look, I was never into crypto, and then I discovered what crypto actually is. So I was like, oh. And here's the deal: when you go to the bank and you put in money and you want to take out your money, a large sum of money, the bank can decide that it will take days to give it to you. As somebody who's purchased a home, I couldn't put a down payment on my house till the transfer went through, and the bank decided to take 10 business days. It's my money. I earned it. It's sitting in the bank, and the bank wouldn't give it to me so I can put it in for my mortgage for 10 days. Because the bank decided so, even though it's my money. Yeah. You could tell me from here to tomorrow it's corporate. I'm in corporate. I know what corporate is. It's my money. It takes one click to release it. It's not money that I borrowed. It's mine that I worked for. They've seen the progression. That's when I hate corporate. In crypto, it doesn't work that way. If you buy something and you want out, you're out. And to me, that's fair. If somebody works for something and buys something, they should be able to have access to what they buy immediately. So I love that about crypto. Next up, in New York or in the States, if you want to get a bank account, you have to go through all this red tape to get one. You have to have this, you have to have that. You can be in India and you can be across the country. And if you want to buy an asset, you can buy crypto and pay for something in crypto. And to me, that's much more equal opportunity. Why shouldn't anyone be able to buy something if they worked hard for it? Why should someone have to suffer because they're not of this or because they're not of that? Or, so in that sense, I feel like you talk about equal opportunity. Yeah. Crypto feels like the equal opportunity.
I think the ideal vision of crypto is that. The problem is, in reality, it ends up not always being that, because crypto fluctuates so much. It doesn't actually give that equal opportunity to everybody. And then also,
well, it kind of does. You can buy it, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. You can literally go on Cash App right now and you can buy crypto right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying in terms of using crypto as a currency for everyone, like it wouldn't put everyone on an equal playing field.
It would though.
I mean, I guess it would.
Crypto's totally a currency.
If every single person used it, it would. But
remember how Apple Pay wasn't a thing? Who was taking Apple Pay? and now Apple Pay is normal.
Yeah.
Crypto is going to be the next form of payment for anything, and it already is a form of payment for a lot of things. So again, am I like a proponent of crypto? Do I have loads
what
of
did you
crypto?
invest in?
No.
Leah, which crypto? Bitcoin, ETH,
Obviously, only
Bitcoin.
I know. I mean, listen.
Solana.
Oh my gosh, you know all this stuff?
Yeah, bro.
So the big three knows I only have in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But people that I know that are very close to me and have companies and again, now that I'm in the business and I'm looking at things, are big crypto, ETH, Solana. But then there's a bunch of little coins that are having moments.
Doge
isn't
No,
really.
I know.
Sui is having a moment right now.
Sui.
There's a lot of cool coins. Now again, I don't play and I don't
Yeah.
plan on playing. But if we're talking about equal, and I just hear a lot of misinformation, and as a queer, who, by the way, I just want to clarify, my family excommunicated me. I was fired from my job. I started from square one. I'm into real equal opportunity. So when I come into something, I listen. But I feel like a lot of the people that I'm around have a very skewed misconception.
You're right. There is a lot of misinformation, and I had a joke a while ago that like I had to come out so many times in my life. Like I had to come out of the Orthodox community, I had to come out as queer, and now I have to come out as a crypto bro because there's so much like judgment and shame around.
I didn't realize that you're a crypto bro.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I made my girlfriend the t-shirt that says crypto bro on it.
I want one.
Oh my gosh. That's so crazy.
Because I also do software engineering, so I was like developing.
It's
on
all the same.
Solana.
It's
I have an
fintech.
NFT on Solana. I worked with an artist to push out a NFT collection. Yeah.
I would love to see it.
About uterus. It's uterus art.
Stop it.
Shout out uterus.
Shout out
Leora
uterus.
Toffler.
How's it doing?
Not well. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but the art's beautiful. It's just like you have to also pay to sell it, right? Because you have to like pay into the transaction fees.
See? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the part of crypto I don't like.
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
also-
another banking thing that
It
happened.
is.
Now there's fees and fees and fees because everyone found ways to make money.
For sure, because there's still a middleman, right? Like the underlying tech. If you were able to do it without the middleman, like yeah, you wouldn't have to. I take that back. Even the underlying tech, like the blockchain, you have to pay a transaction fee to like upload your work onto the network. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
a
I get
gas
it.
Fee. Whatever. We don't have to bore all our listeners with crypto, but I do want to talk about Pesach. The Pesach program and what happened with Modi.
Okay, that's a good one.
That was so
Oh my
crazy.
gosh. Okay, so I'm
So
gonna
I
repeat
went on a
this.
Pesach program, and my brother went on a Pesach program at my Koba, and I was just with him for Shabbat, and he was telling us that Modi was there.
Did he say? How did he say he went to his performance?
He went to his performance. He said last year he saw Elon Gold and he liked Elon Gold better.
Well,
So-
it's interesting
so
because I heard it
stupid.
from someone else who
I like
also
Modi.
said,
I'm whatever.
but I heard his jokes before or whatever it was. And as someone who's a huge Modi fan,
Yeah.
Modi explained it to me best. And he said, a good comedian is like a good singer.
Yes.
People wait for their pieces because their pieces always sound different and there's always a different inflection. And I have my new jokes, but my classic jokes are my exclusive pieces.
Yeah.
And when he said it that way, I was like, a confident comedian, you
Yeah.
know? Now, what
He's
happened
right.
is...
You have the like Paul McCartney still playing Beatles songs from like 70 years ago. Like you're allowed to play your hits.
The only thing is there's a certain dopamine rush you get from a punchline.
For sure, from a new one.
And when
Yeah.
you hear the same one over and over again. But there's a familiarity that's like...
Yeah.
Okay, so he went to this program, apparently.
Which one was it?
One of them. I'm not
You don't
sure
know
which
which
one. And it was a big crowd, 1,300 people. But again, by the time he got up on stage, there was just like... They've been in this restaurant and that restaurant. It's like one of those days they were tired. And that's how these
Yeah.
hotels work. And after the show, he got into the car with Leo. And they shut the door because this big guy was like coming over to them, like a Heimish looking guy. And Modi sensed the energy was going to be negative. So he closed the door and the guy blocked his car and opened the door. And Modi actually took a picture of him and put it on the internet.
So
And the guy
scary.
actually went off at him and told him something like, you made a colonoscopy joke and how dare, you're gay and how could you do that? And it's interesting. My initial reaction was, I was surprised that Modi was not subjected to this earlier. I am surprised that when he did come out, that the world was so welcoming. That was a shock for me.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't my experience. That wasn't so many other people's experience. And it made me happy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what a world. We've evolved.
You're right. What do you think it is? Why do you think people were so much more chill with him coming out?
I'll tell you. Modi entered his stage of life on social media. His Variety article went viral on social media. So the social media world is in general much more accepting to the LGBTQ community.
I guess, but also pretty hateful.
Right. But I meant they've heard of it before. They're okay with it. La, la, la. And he actually stopped performing for a lot of the very Hasidish or, and he was okay with that. He upped his career. He's big time now. You know what I mean? He doesn't need...
But he's still big time, like, Jewish world.
Correct.
Like, he doesn't really perform for non-Jews.
Well, he does.
Oh, he does?
He does. A lot. Comedy Cellar's, like, full of non-Jews and, like...
But he plays the Cellar.
Yeah, I mean, he sold out the Beacon Theater, like, so many times.
Right.
But again, what I say is, what surprises me is that he hasn't been subjected to hate much earlier. And lucky Modi, like, what a great experience. And good for him. And it has a lot to do with what he emitted into the world. He emitted positive energy.
I agree.
He didn't come out bitter, and he didn't come out holding flags. He came out as, this is who I've been. This is who I was. I love the Jewish community.
Yeah.
This is who I perform for. And moving on.
all my, like, charedi family love him. Like, they don't really... Like, he came up and, like, the gay thing didn't even come up. It was just, like, I don't like his comedy as much.
Right. I'm saying if they're going to say something, it'll be about his comedy style.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be about him being gay.
He's so frum. Like, he has such a frum energy.
Yeah. But again, that's also something I struggle with. Let's say he wouldn't have a frum energy. Like, again, and this is why I go on social media and off social media and on social media and off. Whenever social media is going too good for me and whenever I have a lot of engagement and a lot of followers, I bounce. I like take a break from social media because for me, I've learned and this is not for everyone, but I have learned that the more public validation that I get, the less work internally I'm doing on myself. Yeah. So hopefully one day I'll get to the point where I'm balancing both better. But for now, I see what happens and it catches up to me very quickly. I need to go inward and remind myself that I'm something outside of this.
That's
great.
know,
it's hard.
I feel like when I take a break, I feel terrible. Actually, terrible is a strong word, but I think for me it's like maybe it's the validation. And also, I think it's just like the drive to create and to share that I feel like when I don't do it, I feel just really like isolated and not seen. Do you know what I mean? But maybe that's just me looking for external validation. It is. It
is, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We all need external validation. Yeah. And also it's your art.
Yeah.
As an artist, you need external validation.
I know.
So that's why I'm back and forth.
But like can I just clarify? Even when I post something and it's not doing super well, I still feel better.
We talk about this.
I still feel good than like not posting anything. And posting is like in this specific context, but it could be sharing with a friend or like I don't know, writing or anything, not just posting on Instagram. Red flag, somebody not in therapy.
Yes. I mean, you don't need to be in therapy.
Who's never been to therapy? If you're our age and you've never been to therapy, red flag.
What if you're actually healthy? Like, I know this sounds wild.
No, impossible. There's no way you grew up how we grew up or like even in adjacent or whatever. And you're like just totally, you never needed therapy. Have you ever met anyone that's like healthy like that?
But I've met people that grew up in loving homes.
Yeah, but
like well-adjusted, loving, mature.
People is a very big misconception. I've met people who grow up in loving home and they're fucked up from the loving homes because their parents are too supportive and they're too coddling. And then
coddling is not supportive.
Fine. Coddling, they're too
enabling.
They're too they just
helicopter parents.
I don't know. Like they're so supportive that the child has never had to endure hardship.
But that's
and then the second they endure hardship, they freak out.
Totally, but that is not healthy either. For the record.
But that could be like a loving home.
My child grew up in a loving home.
Yeah.
But I was not. I was a coddler, massive coddler. And actually, that's another red flag.
Being a coddler.
No, I mean, no, just coddle culture in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the corporate world. They're saying now that, I don't know how much, because I don't want to say it wrong, a large % of Gen Z kids are showing up to interviews with parents there.
No
With
way.
a parent there. Yes.
No
yes,
way.
in interview processes. And actually,
That's so
I look back
funny.
at my own parenting, and there were so many times where my child had an issue in school, in high school,
Right.
and I got involved, and I shouldn't have. That should have been things that my child should have worked out, but I stepped in. And coddle culture is killing America. Killing America. Killing. Sorry that I know you people are going to come from me and be like, I'm 43 years old. I'm so tired of looking through TikToks and being like, my mother was a narcissist. My mother was a gaslighter. And
she
this is
probably
somebody, and
was.
she probably was. But as somebody who came from that environment as well, I can tell you that some of you kids are the biggest narcissists, and some of you are the biggest liars, okay? And you're lazy. And I'm sorry that I'm calling you out. I mean, you're lazy with your communication style too. It's very easy when your parents say something and you just go, oh my God, you gaslighted me. Super lazy. I'm sorry to say that. It's much more vulnerable and honest to tell your parents, Mom, when you say that to me, it really hurts me. It makes me feel small. When you tell that to somebody, you're gaslighting me. You already labeled it.
Yeah,
you already
you
put a
shut
clinical
down the
term on it.
conversation.
And now there's no vulnerability and feelings left.
I totally hear you. I completely agree. And also, I think like I also did that when I was younger. And I think it's just like an age thing. Like their prefrontal cortexes have not fully formed. That's the thing that enables you to process nuance in the world. And like it's so much easier to just put a black and white label on it and say, this is it. This is it. Like they literally cannot process it. Okay. Melissa is here. Baruch Hashem, only 2 hours late.
Baruch
Right
Hashem.
on
We just found
time.
out that there was a marathon, so
Yes.
that's why.
Thank you
Shout
so
out
much
to our
for
marathon
coming.
friends that are running.
Yeah.
Yes, and now that we have 15 minutes
Yes.
before I have to go get ready for a wedding, we can yenta about my engagement party that you were both at.
Oh, yes.
We were saving the yenta for you to
Okay.
come.
Great. Yes.
So what do we have?
I'm going to start.
Yeah.
I was so blown away by all of it. All of it. First of all, you and Jay are just adorable. I crack up. It's like...
Aren't they the same?
Okay,
It's just
if
the
you, I was
same?
gonna say, if you don't know them, it's hard to explain. But
Yeah.
it's like they're two of a kind, literally two of a kind. Same energy, same smiles. I was blown away by your families, and this is something that I have to say to everyone out there, to all the queers. And I'm sure everyone's situation is different, but sometimes if you want happiness, it's right here. And I think I walked away from your engagement party feeling that way because they called you by the wrong name multiple times. They misgendered you
Is
multiple
it a wrong
times.
name and is it misgendering? Or do you contain both and all?
Melissa, I'm so
I mean, that's
happy
the
here,
question.
I know.
For you, how does that feel?
No, it's not a name that I would like to be called.
Okay.
But it's not like it doesn't.
It's not like a dead
Okay,
name.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
But
it's not
the
a dead
point is
name.
that because you have that approach, it's not a
Yeah.
dead name. It's not something I like, but it's not
Yeah.
whatever. You end up enjoying your life so much more. You and Jay both, because it's a decision for your family to show up and
Yeah.
to support and to celebrate and dance and take part in your joy when you've been so open about your A, bisexuality, B, your open relationship, C, your genders,
Yeah.
you know, all of it, and and your religion or lack thereof. But I'm saying your
Yeah.
family on both ends is fully in support of Team Raye and Jay.
Yeah.
And because of that, you enjoy life so much more. You dance. And I walked away from
You
that
guys
experience.
missed the Simcha dancing. That was
Aw,
really
man,
nice.
I can't wait
Came
for the
later,
wedding.
right?
Yeah.
Although my favorite part is her brother saying that I stole his style because I was
Yeah.
wearing I was wearing a hat and a blazer.
That was
And I was like, that's
amazing.
adorable.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
But also, I think that's the thing. I think that you had the range of people,
Yeah.
like the mixed crowd is incredible, and that you're just showing up as yourself. There are people that are super frum, and you're just like, I'm out here, we're living our life. you're turning, it's like so fucking queer because you're turning everything on its head. You're like, well, we're two people. It's confusing because we're like a man and a woman, but also there's something off. We're like, there's some gender stuff, there's sexuality, which is very clear when you watch us together, when you watch us apart.
I mean, for clarity, guys, you know, Raye wore a white tuxedo suit.
Yes.
Okay.
With a tie.
With a wine red tie.
Yeah.
That matches
you look like
my
a
nails.
little
That matched your nails. Yes, you had nails.
I never got my nails done, but I just thought it would be so fun to match it with the tie.
Yeah.
You just looked like a super non-conforming, queer, just like, you know, like I said, like just so cute. And again, to your parents, it's everything about this, and to your family and siblings, so unconventional and yet so fun and so Jewish, so deliciously queer.
Jewish.
So deliciously Jewish.
I had a conversation with your dad after about Hashem.
Kosher everything.
My parents loved you. My dad loved both of you. He's like, I love the Orthodykes.
He was amazing. He wanted me to stay and party. Your dad had an after party at his hotel. I'm like, who the fuck is your dad? It's so cool.
Raye.
It's amazing. I'm like, I'm old. I gotta go.
Melissa
He's
just
like,
said that online.
Yeah.
She was invited to an after party at your dad's hotel
with everybody.
I was hoping it could just
we're moving past it. Okay, we're moving past it. Never mind.
No, but it didn't end up happening because we just stayed there really late.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was so.
Yeah.
Your dad. Okay, so your dad made us in the speech said something about Hashem, right? Hashem needs to be involved.
Hashem needs to be
And
in
then-
the relationship. And I like visibly cringed.
And so your dad told me. I said I really like the speech. He said Raye gave me the eyes.
Yeah.
Wait,
And then we had a conversation.
I want to know why
did
that make you cringe?
I don't want Hashem. I don't like the way he said it was so orthodox. Like it was like it was just like. And maybe he didn't mean it that way, but I just associated with everything I've heard of like having Hashem be in between you in like your bedroom, and I'm like, oh, why are you talking
so
about that?
interesting.
But you are Hashem, like my necklace. You're Hashem.
Yes.
Because
Hashem is
to
there.
me,
Hashem is there.
I've
but
actually been
but
like
my dad's
scrolling
saying-
TikTok,
a lot.
and somebody said like, what a celebrity, like what are the secrets to a happy marriage? And she said, allowing a third partner into my marriage.
Right.
God.
Oh.
And
You're like
I was
polyamory,
like,
sure.
Yeah, right.
That I can
And
do.
I was like, oh, interesting.
I'm
And I
polyamorous
realized
with
with
God.
my relationship, I do very much have a third partner, which is Hashem. And I do feel that my partner and I are so much closer because of our faith.
Yeah.
So that's why it's interesting that you cringed. I think old me would have cringed, and new me was like, I welcome God into my life because I don't think that I can be in a relationship successfully without the principles and values.
Of
Okay,
faith.
so you know what the
Hashem.
conversation
Those
with
are different things.
Yeah.
You can
Maybe.
have faith and not be like, God needs to be in
Yeah. That's a little okay.
So
Yeah.
Ray's dad said, we had this conversation, more of this, and Raye said, you know what? I said, she sees Hashem differently, or they see Hashem differently. And your dad said, like, what does that mean? And you said if it's a female god, then it's fine. If it's a male god, it's not fine. And he said, but Shekhinah is a female.
Yeah.
And that was the conversation. But now, you know what it's making me think? It's your dad's talking about your intimate life. You're like, ooh, that
ew.
itself is cringe.
Okay, fine. That is so cringe.
And for some reason, because in this like,
That's like a chassan is also. You're like, okay, now is the thing. Now you go together. Now you kiss. Now you like. Everyone knows you're having. Oh, that's a lot.
It's so ironic because in this like Orthodox world where people are so concerned about like you know. Like discretion, tznius.
No, and also sex.
Sex,
I mean, sexual.
you know.
Yeah.
But like, but then people are strangers are like, you need to go to the mikvah.
Oh, right. Yes.
You know, like you need to not having separation from intimacy is really good for a long term. Like all these people are like involved.
Yichud room, even the yichud room. You're just
they're,
like, why you
involved
know
in
what
our
we're
sex
doing?
life, but you're supposed to be tznius. Like that's not your business.
Okay, I saw a religious woman. I'm following these sex therapists online who are religious.
I know
There's
who
not
you're
just
talking
Peggy,
about.
not just Peggy, actual religious ones. There's a few. There's 3. Okay.
I know who they are.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, that makes sense. And one of them just today I saw the difference between secrecy and privacy.
Okay.
And she was saying that people confuse the two, and the shame is around secrecy versus privacy. It's a private thing, but it shouldn't be a shameful thing. And sometimes in the community, it gets like so taboo, you can't talk about it. But that's not actually like her point of view was just like that was
It's
wrong.
private. It's not
Yeah.
a
Not
secret.
secret.
Similar
I like
to
that.
Paige
Yeah, me too.
Buckner and Azzy's relationship. Do you guys know anything about that?
No idea who those
Wow.
people are. Who are they?
Okay, that's a
Thank God you're
WNBA.
here, Melissa. The whole
don't-
time,
okay.
Leah's been quoting random TikTok words at
I am
me.
so
And I'm
glad
just like,
because you're gonna have your audience is
know.
engaged in this
Yeah,
stuff. You're
I'm
welcome.
sure, I'm sure.
So Paige and Azzy, Paige is from the WNBA. She just got drafted to. She was like the top pick this year, and there's this girl that she's always photographed with who's also on the team, and everyone's saying they're together. And to me, that relationship, if they are together, it gives private, not secret. They're not publicizing their relationship,
Right.
but I feel like that's me and my girlfriend. If you're in my life, you know my girlfriend. We hang out together.
Yeah,
but
it's on
I'm
the
not
internet.
public about it.
Yeah.
So it's a private relationship, but not a secret relationship.
Interesting.
You see how you can learn from TikTok?
You can.
There you go. Imam
It's like a mushel,
from
you know, from TikTok. You just take it as okay, now the lesson is.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's in Torah. We believe in privacy of our relationship.
Yes.
But we grew
not-
up
shouldn't
when
be
I went to
secrecy.
college
But what
classes.
is it? What is it when? Yeah, what is it when a stranger is talking about your sex?
I mean,
life?
that's
Do you know what
gross.
it's a little bit like? Sorry,
Is that private? Is that secret? Do you know what I mean?
that
Like,
should be private. Like you're not involved
Especially
in
your
anything.
dad.
Like it's also it kind of makes
it
me
shouldn't
think
be my dad.
It should
Yeah.
not be your father.
But it's also what's weird about parents. Like what's weird about like I think parental relationships and when you're an adult is that like they went through all these life stages with you and then
Yeah.
it's so normal that you're going to have an intimate relationship. Like that's part of being an adult. And suddenly we're just like, that's so fucking cringe. That's so weird. I don't know the right answer. Like I think there's a
as
way
a mom
to
of a
discuss
21-year-old,
Yeah.
I'll say like I've never discussed my child's
intimate life.
intimate life. When my child was, growing up and we talked about it, I said, obviously safety and all that, but I said, I hope that he treated you with respect and kindness, and I hope it was a good experience for you. But I certainly did not mix in, and I don't make jokes. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a boundary.
It
like,
is. It's weird.
Yeah.
They'll tell me if they like someone or if they find someone hot. They'll be like, "Oh, that person's hot," but there's this line that your dad.
Right.
Well, but it's a religious
because
thing.
It's a
like
religious thing. You can mask the
right,
like
because like you go to the
weirdness of
bathroom,
it.
it's private, right? Going to the
Yeah.
bathroom is private. It's not a secret. It's private. But we're taught from a very young age. You say a bracha.
Yeah.
We're like taught how to navigate our bodies and our in ways that if you think about it, it's pretty gross. Like it can be, but if you see it in the religious way, you're just like, okay, so you make a blessing because being grateful, all this stuff. And so with Judaism or religious orthodoxy, I think it's like, okay, now you're entering into this intimate relationships, and there are ways to make it a spiritual experience. It can be really spiritual. You know how I feel about that. And I think, right, I'm like, it's holy.
It is holy.
But
Girl,
so I think
try having sex Shabbos afternoon after
you're
shul.
doing a mitzvah. Yes, I think that's where your dad is like, okay, so God, it's hard to separate teachings. I don't know. It's hard to see it clearly.
He also
I'm like,
could have not meant it that way, and I just took it that way because that's
right.
Well,
you
how
could have meant
I
it in
was
life.
taught it.
Ooh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
you got to talk to your dad,
Yeah.
Or not.
or not.
Be like, Dad, remember last week
Was
when
it
you
about,
said
like,
that?
sex?
Talk about my sex life in front of everybody at the engagement party.
or just in general,
yeah.
or just in general. Which
No,
one?
Because he has brought up mikvah to Jay and myself too, like separately.
Oh.
Like, yeah. It's.
I mean,
Okay,
that's an
okay, in
Orthodox
all
thing.
It's an
fairness,
Orthodox thing.
From parents are very concerned about Taras HaMishpacha.
Very
My mom
concerned.
showed up at the mikveh because she was worried that I wouldn't go. So
Right.
when I was getting, I know. And I didn't want to tell her where I was going. And normally she went with my siblings, but I felt it was so weird. So I was like, Ma, I got this. She was worried. She somehow found out where I was going because I went to a different mikveh, and she found out where I was going. And when I came in to check in, the person at the front desk was like, "Oh, your Weisz, your mom's here." And I was just like,
That's so
"What?
freaky.
What are you doing?" I'm so
She,
mad,
like,
but then you can't do it. It's in public, so I can't really be like.
Yeah.
So I
Like if
remember
you
one of my
knew.
mikvah experiences. This was after I was married already. I met this high school teacher of mine at the mikvah.
Oh, yeah.
We were both like checking in, and she's like, "Leah, what are you doing here?" I'll never forget. I was like, "I'm buying
Jay?
groceries. What do you think I'm doing here?"
The main thing I want to say is that it was the most beautiful party. Also, Raye and Jay really know how to party. Like,
Yeah.
what the really?
I can't
we
wait.
walked in and we were like, what?
I am so sorry that it was
What?
during the
Are you
week,
kidding?
and it was like such a hard
I
time to
know,
get
you
out,
guys-
especially like my kid and whatever. But Your wedding? Like, I'm gonna be away.
Oh yeah, we're
I
going
just
to.
wanna-
We're
And
staying.
be ready to party.
Okay.
None
No
of this
idea.
bullshit of
I
leaving
can't wear a
early.
hat.
I'll be
Where
the
we
first
go, I
one
had a
there.
hat.
I'll be the last
know,
one
But I
out.
gotta take it off when you dance.
Oh, fine.
Ray, are
Yeah.
you gonna wear
Please
a
wear
tux
black
to the
hats.
wedding?
Okay, we're
I'm
wearing
not
black hats.
sure
We're wearing black
yet.
hats to the wedding.
Please wear black hats. I just want to say what we should have done for this party, which is how Persians do, which is amazing, is they don't serve food till like 10 o'clock, and then everyone's forced to stay
Perfect.
to the end. So that's what we're doing for the wedding. So
We're
be ready.
staying because
And
I
you're
want to
lighter
party.
when you're
I was
dancing.
just so
Yes.
tired. It was such a long
I know.
week, whatever.
It was a
Me too. I came
weeknight.
from work.
But I'm pumped.
Yes.
So
But it
back
was
to you,
really,
Ray
really,
J, and
really
to
fun. I'm very
Yenta.
excited for this
and
wedding.
you missed like the core fun part.
Also, guys, I just want to explain.
You
to
went
you, like,
upstairs.
part
you
of
threw down
it-
your tie.
Yeah, on you.
On me, and then he gave it to your dad.
My
And your dad
dad
is
was
playing with the tie. She's like, what? It was so fun.
You have to send me the video.
What about the friend of yours that did the game?
Yeah, Rachel.
Okay,
So
just want to
hot.
clarify. The game was in front of from family and friends,
gosh.
and the questions were like, whose
Guy, what
phone
is it?
is more which phone has more naughty pictures on it, Ray's or Jay's? And her mother's right there, and her father's right there, and I'm like,
And there's debate, and there's debates about it.
Everybody
Loud
had to
debates.
vote. Everyone had
Right,
to
everyone had to
vote.
vote.
I
and everyone was
voted
just
for you. I
like,
was
Jay,
like, Ray,
no,
definitely
Ray, no,
Ray.
Jay.
And then I
Maybe
was shocked.
Jay.
It was Jay.
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
And
Okay,
then the
Ray.
one who was the most from, and I won that.
Oh,
Were you there for that?
By the way, is it true?
I won that by far.
I have a question.
Jay was very upset.
No, but I just want to know, are you more into...
So what I said is like I'm more firm in the silly ways. He's more firm in the deep ways.
Oh,
like
good.
What is the silly way?
Like the silly ways of like I love. It's not silly, but it's like I love the culture. I love the singing. I love the like
Right.
The joyous
I love
things.
I love Shabbat. I
Yeah.
love like the practice of it. But I'm not like God is gonna protect us and He's here for and like I'm God. Like I don't. Or everything happens for a reason. Like I don't.
Oh,
I'm not-
he's like that.
he's
In my
really
5
like
minutes
that.
now and talking to
Yeah.
him, he mentioned that as well.
Yeah. He's
Okay, but
really-
you want a partner like that.
No, it's really nice. I think
Yeah.
we balance each other nicely.
Did
in those
you?
ways.
I don't know if you want to keep this online, but did you actually? Were you off your phone this whole Shabbos? Are
Yeah,
you doing
I
this?
was. It was just this past Shabbos because I was at my brother and sister-in-law's parents. I mean, I could have used my phone in my room.
That's
if
what
I
I
wanted
do.
To. Yeah, but I just thought it would be nice.
It is
to,
nice.
Like,
How did it
just
f-
really
yeah.
turn up? It was great.
Yeah.
It was. I was actually so annoyed to turn up. Sorry.
All
I
right,
was
let's
so
end this.
annoyed to turn on my phone after Shabbat. I didn't really miss anything. It was just really it felt like overwhelming when I had to like review everything that I missed at
Right.
the end of
Yeah,
Shabbat.
yeah.
But like while I was away from it, it was
Felt
so
nice.
so nice. I think, and I said this to Jay, like I mean, there were so many beautiful things about Shabbat. It was like a from. Jay's like, this is a shtetl Shabbat. Like fiddler on
Where
the
was
roof,
it? Teaneck, you
shtetl
said?
Shabbat. Teaneck. Every single woman there had it not like a like shtetl, like a tichel, like a mitpachat tichel.
Really?
Like
Yeah, because Teaneck is very unique.
very,
Each community, each Jewish community is unique.
It's-
Teaneck
yeah.
is very religious.
very religious.
And
like,
this is your sister-in-law's family.
This is my sister in exactly.
and they invited you. She seems
They-
really sweet.
She's
And we
very
met-
sweet. Very sweet. Very. You met her?
Yeah,
Yes.
at the thing. But
Yeah.
wait.
Very from.
were you
but-
dressed from too?
No, I wore.
Maybe you're changing things.
I'm like I'm not gonna wear dress for them. Like I don't care.
And they were fine.
They didn't say anything, but one little boy actually did come up to me and goes, "Why do you look like a boy?"
Yep.
And I was like, "Thank you."
Thank you.
But
If
like,
you-
he meant it as an insult. Like it was very clear. But I was like, "Thank you." And
Just bringing it back. You
yeah.
were cooler before JoJo Siwa was cool, and you were already dating a guy.
exactly.
See, lessons from TikTok.
There
This
you
is
go.
really deep.
You're welcome.
So okay,
and I am JoJo Siwa. Yeah, exactly.
Duh.
Yeah.
So you were really from environment, and Jay stayed with you.
Jay stayed with us. They gave us two
Oh, okay,
separate
that's
beds.
what I was gonna ask. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
But
what I was
we
gonna
pushed
ask.
the beds together. Don't.
Was
that's
Hashem in the room
secret.
with you?
Of course.
Because I once went with
we
to,
didn't
like a
we didn't
Shabbos.
do anything. We just like didn't want to like sleep on
Yeah.
opposite sides of the room.
I once went for Shabbos to also a religious home. They knew
Yeah.
we weren't religious,
yeah.
and it was years ago. It was with my boyfriend at the time, and they gave us two separate rooms,
Yeah.
and I said no,
Good.
and I was just like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't have come if I would have
What a
known.
So
chutzpah,
did
yeah.
he
Said-
stay with you?
Yeah, he said, okay, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but they were struggling with it. But
Yeah.
they were like, that's what we do with my sister, even when she brings her boyfriend. I was like, but I wouldn't have come. You invited me to the house.
No,
as
we
is.
cleared it before. We were like, I cleared it with them
Okay,
before.
good.
I was like, we're gonna stay in the same room.
Okay, good.
So they knew, but they still give us the separate beds, which honestly is totally fine.
They would have given that to you if you were married too, probably.
Probably,
Right? Because they have separate beds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. But maybe they would have pushed the beds together instead of being on the opposite.
Never.
They can't assume with
A
mixed
from
with
family would never. A from
Yeah.
family would never.
They can't assume.
No, they wouldn't, because who knows? You could be
Who knows
Anita.
this- Yeah.
You could be
I know,
Anita.
I know.
Wow. But it was
Another-
beautiful.
It
Okay.
was really nice, and the most amazing thing was that everyone kept asking a normal question to a newly engaged couple: "How did you meet? How did you meet?"
Oh my gosh.
And we had to tell everyone over. It was like a perfect way to come out over and over because we met at an LGBTQ Jewish gala. We met at JQ, so we just had to say it over and over, and they were like, "Huh, I didn't know that those existed."
But could
I
you
didn't know
imagine the
you could have
irony?
a Jewish LGBTQ organization. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of them. JQ, JQI, Esha, and then we just would like do our little pitch.
Wow. No, but
Wow.
also,
It
can
was
you
really nice.
imagine going to an LGBTQ event, queer event, most likely to meet someone of your gender?
I know.
And then going there and meeting someone of the opposite
it's truly
gender.
wild.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we don't know because they're on some they're on gender journeys. Both of
True,
them,
true.
so-
But I meant
Whatever.
like.
we're
opposite.
straight. We're gay. It
Wait,
doesn't
but
matter.
also I
I
meant.
like that joke you have
the
about your
typical
brother saying, I don't know what you are, but you're
biological,
definitely not straight. I love that joke.
That's exactly how I am.
Such a good
Yeah.
joke.
Well, look at my kid says they'll identify as anything besides a cis man.
Fair enough.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I also loved, and Leah kept. You were also so excited about this religious couple, with the kippah. These two guys
Oh my God, those gay
at
guys!
your party.
They are the
You
cutest.
met them, aren't they amazing?
I
Check
cannot.
them out. I don't know.
You
but
can't. We
I
didn't
don't know
get
if they
to
would
even
like
ask
it.
their names.
I was obsessed with them.
They're wearing
And-
kippahs
They're from.
from
Oh,
They got
guys.
from married. They got
cuties.
They're Jay's good friends.
They got from married.
Yes.
Who married them?
In Riverdale. They live in. I don't know.
Because I read an article about some couple, but I don't know if it was
There's
them.
a lot. Yeah. there's
So
a lot
cute.
of
And by the way,
So
for all of you
cute.
listening and saying, well, you can't be frum and you can't be gay, to you I say, bit don l'kaf, which means judge other people favorably. And just assume, like when you see a frum person, they keep Shabbos. Assume that a gay person is keeping the halachos, okay? Because there are very strict halachos about what two men may not do. And men are allowed to get married, halachically.
Yeah.
Men are allowed to celebrate their love
true?
with one another, yes.
Just not
There's
anal
one
sex.
Just not
act
the
that may not be
prohibition.
done. So when you hear, oh, they're a gay couple, they must not be frum, that's an oxymoron. Don't assume that, because I actually know gay couples, gay couples that are completely Shomer Shabbos, kosher, frum, and keep the laws of the Torah.
Wow.
And are committed to keeping the laws of the Torah.
Like they don't have sex.
They have other things,
not
but
anal
not
sex.
the halachic restriction. And guess what? Do you
I
know what
actually
goes
kinda hate
on?
What
that.
about that story?
Do you
about,
know
what
what
about
goes
that?
on in somebody's closed doors at a straight couple?
Right. They can also be
Halakhically, a
gay.
straight couple, a man is not allowed to do a certain thing to a woman. Do we know what he does behind closed doors?
Listen, I don't give a fuck. You
Oh,
could do whatever you want.
Do it not with open lights or something.
Point
But
is,
isn't
we
there
don't
also
know
this
what
thing about-
goes on in straight
but isn't
couples
this the
world.
story
Why are we
about-
judging what goes on in
Fair
gay
enough,
couples
but isn't
world?
this the main thing, the big thing about like spilling seed? Isn't that the big?
No, the big
avera?
thing is don't lie with a man as you would
yeah,
with
but
a
in
woman.
general, there's also about spilling seed.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think that's like the Isser Doraita that people are so worried about when it comes to gay sex.
Okay.
It's more about the actual.
So wait,
thing.
does this bother you knowing this now and that you are non-binary? Does this make you feel away?
Wait,
Like
what?
the halachic restriction of like
I think nobody should worry about what goes on in anybody's thing, and also
Yeah.
like there's there's so many laws that people are like we focus on certain
on
ones,
sex.
and
Yeah.
like also
Just
so
leave people alone.
leave people alone.
No, it bothers me that gay men would not have sex
yeah,
for the Torah.
bothers me too.
I mean, again, I know
but-
this gay couple very well, and I actually
Religion.
asked them about it. And I
Yeah.
said, like, so you're committed to a life of like restricting?
Mm.
And he said, well, we're from. There are many things we restrict with kosher, we restrict with Shabbos. This is a restriction of the Torah. They love each other, they hold each other, they cuddle, they kiss. I'm sure they do, not my
Yeah.
business. But
Doesn't
the point is,
matter.
I've learned that when I've
I-
had people say, oh,
Religious-
from gay guys, it doesn't exist.
No, there's a lot of
You
them.
know, and it
There was
does.
there was a bunch of from gay people at that engagement party.
That's amazing.
It's really amazing.
And it's amazing that there's a space that they can actually they don't have to give one up. They don't have to be like, oh, my whole identity is just like, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
And this is,
Well, there is
I can
giving
be
up,
all
and
of
I
it.
don't want to whitewash that because pinkwash that or whatever it is, because let's be real, in the frum community, gay people are still not, at best, we're tolerated and accepted like lactose. But I would not say that we are celebrated. I'm not saying that we're super welcome. Unfortunately, the frum community still has ways to go.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But there's progress.
There is progress, and we're
Yeah.
moving in the right direction. But I will say that there are a lot of like less frum communities where gay people are welcome, but those are not communities as a Jewish person that I feel welcome.
So that
I
was
will
what
say
was
that-
really hard about this Shabbat, is that like there's so much beauty and joy and so much of what I was doing there, and it was like the first time I had like a really frum Shabbat in so long. And there's also a lot of pain and hardship and like everything in life is trade-offs, and there's no perfect place, but I would love to create something like that where it's like it's not just like the woman cooking and the men are just sitting, and then the men go to shul and the women clean up everything after, like, but we're all singing together and we're all enjoying it, and it's like it's just one day.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. There's so many layers to that, right? Because like I went to my brother for the Shabbos meal on Friday night, and my brother does a lot of the cooking.
Oh,
okay?
great!
So my brother's like feminist, but he's also very Hasidish.
Yeah.
And so the kids are. So he's the one that does. So I thanked her. I said the food is delicious, and at some point I didn't know who to thank, and then she's like,
it was him.
he
Yeah.
did it.
So you
and
were
he
giving
did that,
into the
and he did that,
patriarchy.
right?
Yeah.
At certain points, and then I was just like, okay, what do I say? But then there's there's layers to it. Because one of the things I realized, which I didn't like, is the little boys, when he said Kiddush, the little boys said Kiddush with him, and they all had their own bechers, and the girls did not have their own bechers.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't love that, because I was like, okay, it's already divided.
I wouldn't
and,
either like it, and
Right?
I didn't like
No,
it
I
about
would hate
Hanukkah
that.
either.
But the girls
like, why
also
the
didn't
men
ask
like
for the bechers.
menorah?
They already accept it
They
so
already
much.
know, of course.
They already know, and they're not very little.
Oh
They're
my God,
like
can
a
I
little
tell you
older,
about
so
a
they're-
crazy thing I saw this Shabbos? There was a girl wearing a dress, like two families, whatever, I won't give us specifics, but like a girl wearing it was like a dress. It was like, it's disgusting to talk about it because like a 9-year-old girl, like she
collarbone showing.
like she had like a little bit it was like a little bit low. It's disgusting to even say that out loud.
Like her collar.
Yeah.
What are they called? What is it called?
Like
The line.
on the line,
okay,
whatever.
yeah.
And like not her mom, another girl's mom goes to this girl and lifts up her dress and goes, "It's a little low." And then the girl's mom is like, "Honey, don't worry." Like, thank God.
good.
She was like, "Do not say that."
Oh, good.
And but the damage was already done
Yes.
because for the next hour this girl was like, "Should I change? Is this
Oh my
okay? I don't know if I should wear this."
A
And my
9-year-old kid.
9-year-old girl.
You know, the hardest
broke
thing
my
about
heart.
That's the part about
Ray,
sex stuff
the
too. It started at
hardest
such a young
thing
age.
So
about
young.
being a healed person,
Mhm.
like, and being someone who's evolved, is when we see things like that, it hurts us so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Like when I see injustices, it hurts me so
Yeah.
bad. And I wonder, is it my own triggers? Like maybe the girl, whatever, she'll be anxious for an hour and she'll move on with her life. I am gonna
Yeah.
ruminate on
Yeah.
it and stew on it, because to me it feels like a real injustice.
Yeah.
It does. And I have that issue with shidduchim. That's my biggest issue. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's matchmakers. And the more religious you are, the more dependent you are on matchmakers to make your shidduch. In our community, you do not meet your love partner on your own. You meet through a matchmaker. And I'm
I'm
can't
gonna
take it.
Life partner more than love partner, maybe.
Life partner. Thank you. And I have to say that I am very bothered by the system, and I understand that it's a work in progress and whatever, but I will say your average 18, 19-year-old girl that is ready and in the market, my heart hurts from the blows to their self-esteem,
Yeah.
because they have to create resumes.
Give me an example.
Yeah.
Like this typical 19-year-old girl.
And then we
This
need
is
to
back
wrap
when
up.
I was in high school, when I was teaching in high school, in the firm high schools for many years. This typical 19-year-old girl who's like graduated smart, great girl, went to great seminaries, coming back now, and she's being told by matchmakers like she should consider doing a nose job. Right? Because it's affecting her. When people see pictures, like it would benefit her. Now, it's true. When you're in shidduchim or when you're single, it's good. You want to look attractive.
Yeah.
You want your person to be attracted to you, right? but also these are coming from matchmakers, and it's like a system that we're building, that we're subjecting everyone to just one picture and one resume. And it's so disposable. And I know people say, well, we have online. Hinge is the same way. Tinder is the same way. But we're not like that with Jews. This is about a life partner.
Yeah.
So why are we subjecting them to one picture and one whatever?
Losing weight is a big deal too, right?
Yeah, and skinny, not regular skinny, Raye. Not regular skinny.
Being really slim, it's like a thing.
Sickeningly skinny, like size 2 only. And thank God in the non-Jewish world, I know they'll say it's not true. Look at all the Instagrammers. It's not true. There's much more body positivity in the non-Jewish world than there is in the Jewish world. And then they'll say, well, that's not good. We see obese people flouncing around the bikinis, and we're like, slay, when she's like 200 pounds overweight, right? It's not slay. That's actually dangerous. It's the opposite of slay. It's like, you will slay yourself if you keep eating like that.
The thing is that the commentary on people's bodies, and it's also so young, right? It's so young.
And that's what we were saying, red flag. Earlier, we were talking about red flags. It's like anyone who's like leaves a room and comments on someone's body, like
huge red flag.
It's really, really
so skinny.
Yeah. Anyway, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's. But at the same time, I have a friend who grew up Hasidish, and she's now in her. Well, I guess she's 40, but in her 30s, she kept saying, "I wish there were shidduchim. I wish I can go through this because there's something about it that is like everyone gets partnered up, or most people get partnered up, and you really look at certain things so there is looks that for sure there's an issue, but there's also people try really hard to connect people that family stuff matters. Like these things do matter to have a life partner, and I think there's a lot of like the shows, Say Yes to the not Yes to Dress, the one that you get married coming down the aisle. There's like these reality shows of like
love
without
is
meeting
blind.
each other.
Yeah,
Love at first sight.
And there's reasons like. I don't know how successful they are, but they put together like a sociologist and a therapist and all these things. And I feel like in our community, they do that in that process. So you're not meeting for a long time, but before you met, everyone did all this research.
So
and
you're
that's a positive thing.
that is a very good thing. So there's compatibility. But also, I do wonder about some of the compatibility. For example, like I said, as a high school teacher, the first question they'll ask in shidduchim is, what job did the girl have in high school? That's a big one.
High school?
Yes, what job she had. Like, was she Geo or valedictorian, or was she on the yearbook committee, or was she chagiga committee? Because that alone will classify what kind of a girl she was.
That's crazy.
But that's really unfair, because I remember when I was teaching, my students were very pressured and stressed about what jobs they were going to get.
Because of shidduchim.
And then they're pressured about what seminary they're going to go to. And even if a girl is chubby in high school, and she's chubby when she's 13, but she lost some weight and now she's 18,
people will still say she was chubby.
They will remember that she was a fat girl, and that will affect her shidduch.
Yeah.
I was definitely worried about what seminary I went to for shidduch.
So you can't have divorced parents. You can't divorce parents from divorced homes. It's a broken home.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't have even, by the way, this is very sad to say, children that had family members that went OTD or were not religious.
Yeah,
that whole family's a red flag now.
Yeah,
I know that my brother was upset at me for that when he was dating.
I was afraid for my sister about this. Yeah, I was worried about my sister.
But then he found
I don't think she's affected by it. She has a beautiful marriage. Really, like he's amazing, and they really get along.
No, because this is how it goes. You have to sacrifice something. You have a child from an OTD family.
Maybe he wasn't the most top learner in the yeshiva, like that.
Like, who cares?
High enough stuff.
Loser.
Who cares as a partner? Like, I'm that's what I can like imagine. Like those kinds of things. Maybe it wasn't like, but he's such a good guy, and they really have a good marriage. And so you're like, there's nothing really that was supposed to. And
thank God, she married the right person.
She married the right person.
We talked about this, Raye and I, about you're not supposed to know certain things before you marry somebody. Otherwise, you never would have married them.
Oh, really?
And that's why Jay and I aren't living together before marriage.
Are you scared?
That's not why.
Let's end on that, by the way.
That's not why.
I got questions.
No, it's just like people ask me, well, how could you guys not live together? Like, that's crazy. You're not going to know. And I'm like, it's okay to not know everything.
I totally agree with you. And actually, by the way, you're so right. Because today, especially I'm sorry, and I'll call out the queer community, especially my lesbians that I know that move in 5 seconds after they meet, and U-Hauls.
Yeah.
It is so great to look forward to the next step in your relationship. And that's what marriage means now. It's a union.
I was 20 when I got married in the community, and I will say that I really liked learning and figuring things out together.
Yes. Oh,
And there's
we
something
know.
really nice about
I
that.
agree.
No, not just
You
sexually.
figured out. I know.
Sexually, I liked it too a lot.
Watch the
I'm
last
looking-
I'm looking
Orthodykes
forward
if you
to
want
me
to
and
see
my
that.
girlfriend
But
moving
also,
in
like, the
together. We're
life,
together
like-
for 3 years.
But
I'm looking
yeah.
for, yes, we hang out a lot together and we cohabitate, but we don't live together.
You're
yet.
not
We
like
don't have
creating
place
a
together.
home together
And
yet.
we will. And it's something to look forward to. So when
Yeah,
you
I'm
get
really
married,
excited
you and
about
him
that.
are creating a home.
So that's and you feel like he is the person that you could.
Life
You
partner.
trust enough, the life partner, your life partner and love partner,
Mm-hmm.
that you trust enough that you feel like you can get through these things that you don't know.
Right,
Is that the
exactly. Like
thing?
we've had enough differences and conflict that okay, we're
And
both
sleepovers
good.
and
so, yeah,
traveling
yeah,
and-
yeah. But we're virgins.
Wait,
that-
hold on. Did you do it?
No, never. Actually,
from?
my was talking to me. Whatever. No.
What is up with the boundaries in
there's
your
no-
family?
There's no boundaries in Orthodox Judaism. There's no
there-
boundaries.
There is an
Yes,
issue.
there is.
It's insane.
Not your
some
family,
boundaries.
but yeah.
Some boundaries, but people do. I know that
People
when
don't know
people
how-
get married in my family, right? Suddenly, again, you're part of the big girls table.
Yeah.
And now you talk about people ask how you're doing. They don't say it on the nose. They don't ask how sex was, but they kind of say how you
The big girl-
because you're having sex. Exactly. So,
It's really
exactly.
like you call it the big girls table, but it's like a status elevation.
Oh,
This
yes.
is how it goes.
The community.
When you get
Yes.
married,
Wild.
you
Wild,
can
right?
do blah blah blah.
Exactly. Your husband. Now it's a different. You're not doing your
Yeah.
father. Like your husband. It's shulam bias.
Husband.
Shulam bias.
Yeah.
You make whatever
When
works.
you
You
get
need a TV for
married-
shulam bias. Okay.
I know.
Oh, like
And
Ma,
part-
I want to drive. When you get married, if your husband
Yeah.
lets you get the
Husband.
license, you can
That's
drive.
what Jay said I should say. Because we're going to this firm wedding later and I'm probably going to wear a suit. And he's like, just tell everybody that your husband told you that you're supposed to wear it. And then they'll be okay with
Husband,
No one-
husband
No
said.
one gets involved in shalom bias.
It's the best. The reason you have a husband is to be like, ugh, my husband.
My
doesn't
husband. Okay. For happiness, whatever.
Yeah.
Shalom bias.
Okay, well, this was so lovely to schmooze with you guys. I really have to go for this wedding, but
Okay.
I love you both so much, and I'm sad that we don't get to schmooze more, but I'm sure we will soon.